A quiet but significant development has just taken place in an ongoing investigation that's already raised serious questions. A second arrest has been made, this time at a UK airport, and it's starting to look like this isn't just an isolated case. The details are still emerging, but what's unfolding could have wider implications than many first assumed. Let's break it down, but first hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Just when it seemed the story couldn't get any more bizarre, a second man has now been arrested in connection with the string of suspicious fires targeting properties linked to Prime Minister Starmer, and this twist is raising even more eyebrows. The latest suspect, a 26-year-old man, was arrested at London Luton Airport at around 1:45 p.m. on Saturday, May 17. The charge: conspiracy to commit arson with intent to endanger life. That's not your everyday criminal offense. It's a serious accusation usually reserved for cases involving real threats to life and public safety. The arrest was made by counter-terrorism officers from the Eastern Region Special Operations Unit. He's now being held in police custody in London while investigators dig into his background and any potential links to the earlier incidents. Let's recap the timeline. May 8. A vehicle fire is reported in NW5 North London. At the time it flew mostly under the radar. May 11. A second fire breaks out at the entrance of a residential property in the N7 area, forcing emergency crews to intervene. May 12. Early hours, a third blaze occurs at another residential address in NW5, again linked to Star 3 fires. 4 days, all connected to the Prime Minister. The odds of that being random slim to none. Now here's where things start to really unravel. Earlier this week, police charged Roman Lavinovic, a 21-year-old Ukrainian national from Sydenham, with 3 counts of arson with intent to endanger life. He's already been to court, denied the charges, and is now sitting in custody awaiting a hearing at the Old Bailey, Britain's top criminal court, on June 6. But now, with this second suspect arrested at the airport, it's no longer just about a young man with a grudge or a moment of madness. This is being treated as a coordinated conspiracy, potentially involving multiple actors, serious planning, and possibly even ideological motives. So let's ask the obvious question: what's really going on here? There's been a curious silence from Starr's camp. No big statements, no media blitz, just a few sterile lines from law enforcement, and yet behind the scenes counter-terrorism officers are being deployed, airports monitored, and suspects are being picked up with zero warning. Is this about Starr's politics, a personal vendetta, or something deeper, something that cuts into the growing unrest in this country as more people begin to lose faith in those running it? Because, let's be honest, Starmer hasn't exactly been the people's champion. His government has already stirred serious backlash with its stance on immigration, energy, free speech, and the handling of political dissent. And while no one is justifying arson, the climate of frustration and fury that's building across Britain can't be ignored. What we're witnessing may not just be an isolated criminal case, it might be a symptom of a country on edge, a public that's tired of being silenced, policed, and patronized by a political class that seems more focused on optics than reality. And now, with court proceedings underway and another high-stakes hearing just weeks away, the pressure is mounting for the police, for the government, and yes, for Keir Starmer, who now finds himself in the crosshairs of both criminal investigators and public opinion. This story isn't over. In fact, it's just getting started. Another suspect, another twist, and a lot of questions that still need answering. In other news, Prime Minister Keir Starmer has signaled potential changes to the controversial winter fuel payment policy after facing months of fierce backlash. Last year, Chancellor Rachel Reeves confirmed the up to £300 in energy bill support would now be reserved for older households in receipt of pension credit. Despite previously being a universal benefit, it is understood that the government is considering raising the current £11,500 income threshold that determines eligibility for the payments, according to the newspaper. Discussions about modifying the approach have intensified in Downing Street this week amid growing concerns that voters will not forgive Labour for the cut. Speaking to reporters in Tirana, Starmer was asked 3 times whether he was considering changing the thresholds but did not rule it out. Instead, he defended the original decision, saying, "Look, we took difficult decisions, but the right decisions at the budget, including the decision that we took on winter fuel as a result of those decisions. I mean, they were taken specifically with the purpose of stabilizing the economy, and I think we're seeing the evidence of that in the interest rate cuts and the growth figures." Sources suggest Chancellor Rachel Reeves could announce changes next month in her spending review, which will take place on June 11. Simon Francis, the coordinator of the End Fuel Poverty Coalition, welcomed the potential policy shift but emphasized that what matters now is the detail. He shared, "Any U-turn is welcome, but What matters now is the detail, especially if winter fuel payments are not restored to all pensioners. There are 3 tests we will apply to any announcement based on thresholds, tapers and wider targeting to see if ministers are getting the message. We need to see the pension credit threshold raised significantly, a taper system introduced to stop people missing out on winter fuel payments for being just £1 over the line, and wider targeting of this support, including for those on non-Mintest disability benefits or carers allowance. Francis also expressed concern about rumors that the Chancellor might water down the Warm Homes plan promised in the Labour manifesto and reduce the £13.2 billion promised to it. Money-saving expert Martin Lewis has also weighed in on the potential changes, warning that more need to be addressed to tackle inequalities. Lewis explained that be welcome but still doesn't fix the worst underlying problem. The means testing mechanism is flawed. He highlighted that around £700,000 vulnerable pensioners with incomes under £11,500 still miss out on winter fuel payments because they don't claim pension credit due to its overly arduous process. Thus, they miss out in both the important support that brings and on winter fuel payments that needs to change. Lewis added in conclusion, while the government's reconsideration of the winter fuel payment policy signals a potential step in the right direction, it remains clear that any changes must go beyond surface-level adjustments, with pressure mounting from campaigners, experts and the public alike. The onus is now on Chancellor Rachel Reeves to deliver a revised framework that addresses the flaws in the current system, particularly around eligibility thresholds and the burdensome pension credit application process. As the June spending review approaches, all eyes will be on Labour to prove that it is listening and willing to act decisively to protect the most vulnerable this winter. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.